It's really surreal, very emotional, very overwhelming, but absolutely beautiful. It was like stepping into a beautiful painting.
All through the night, thousands of people have been queuing for hours to file past the coffin and pay their respects.
Fantastic lady, best queen ever, queen of the world, right?
Yeah.
She was like a grandmother to the nation and everything, hence we're all here today.
So it looks like you may have served in the armed forces from your medals.
No, I haven't actually. This is my father's medals.
Okay.
From the Royal Air Force Second World War.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
And so did he have a particular love of the Queen?
Oh yes, yeah.
And have you inherited that from him?
Well, I'm representing him in a way because he's not here, so it was just thought it'd be a nice gesture.
Yeah. And I mean, are you particularly a monarchist, or do you have particularly strong feelings about the Queen's passing and the accession of
I don't know if I'd
Charles?
use the word monarchist. I just think she was a great person and did a great service. So
Yeah.
I'm here, like a lot of people, just pay my respects.
You're wearing a kilt. Have you come from Scotland?
I haven't come from Scotland, but I am Scottish. I'm wearing the kilt really from my grandfather. He was a Munro, so it's a Munro tartan. He was in the First World War. He was the first person that would stand up any time when I was a kid, when there was the national anthem for the Queen.
If you didn't stand up, he'd tap you on the head and do that, and you'd all stand up.
Okay.
But I think everybody's here for their parents and their grandparents and that generation that have done so much. And I mean, look at all these people. This is our little group. We've got a WhatsApp group, the Queen's Queue.
It's crazy to me. In America, we have like queues for like Black Friday and stuff like that. People do like, I don't know, 6 hours like for that. But it's crazy to see the amount of people lining up for stuff like that. It's so crazy.
There's not even a cheap telly at the end of it.
Exactly.
Hang on, let me take my hat off. Yes, been here since 6:20 this morning.
Gosh.
It has been a long time. It was cold early on.
And it looks like from your medals you may have had quite some allegiance to the Queen.
Yes, she was my boss. I served in the RAF for 22 years.
How did you feel about the Queen during her life? Did you feel particularly close to her? Like some people felt like they knew her.
I'm 66, so all I've ever known is the Queen. I was broken-hearted. She might be 96, but it still comes as a shock. And I'll be crying my eyes out when I get to the coffin.
How do you feel about Charles as the King?
I've come from Cardiff, and where is he? Cardiff.
While we struggle to heat our homes, we have to pay for your parade.
Thank you for coming.
The taxpayer pays 100 million for you, and what for? Need from Brennan.
Do you feel like a bit of a mug? You should be in Cardiff seeing the new King.
Bit of both.
What do you make of the fact that people are queuing for like 14 hours to see the Queen?
Personally, I think it's crazy.
What do you think about the expense that's going to happen when, for the coronation, which will be, I think, early next year at the time of a kind of cost of living crisis? It's going to be like millions of pounds you're going to pay, I'm going to pay. How do you feel about it?
Well, as taxpayers, like having to kind of cover the cost of something that really a lot of us don't think should be a thing anyway, I feel like society's moved past traditions in a lot of ways, and we hang on to weird ones that I don't think should necessarily still be there. So,
what do you think about the Queen as the former head of empire and head of the Commonwealth now Charles? These kind of former colonies that still kind of have the Queen as their head of state because of a legacy of racial domination.
See, I think. I mean, you're asking someone who is part of one of those ethnic minorities, and I think that at the same time that she may have done a lot of good things, you can't escape that past. And in many ways, Britain's done a lot of good things to correct a lot of stuff that's happened in the past, but to show this level of support for something that represents that, as well as, countless good things that I'm sure people who support it would throw at me, I think it's too big of a smudge to just ignore.
I mean, how did you feel when you got the news last Thursday?
My actually wife actually cried her eyes out for about half a day. I actually did have quite a few tears in my eyes and everything. I think it's really sad. I think we've lost something in the UK. To be honest, I think the Commonwealth and the world has actually lost something what's really important.
I felt as though my anchor had come away, and I felt a bit adrift and a bit sort of as though we've lost our figurehead, really. And you know, we're all compass, and we're all slightly not quite sure which way we're going now.
Hello.
Kind of weird day today, huh?
Yeah, it's mental, yeah.
What do you make of the fact that some people are queuing for 14 hours to see the Queen's coffin?
I personally wouldn't do that. I think that's a bit...
Judging by the length of this queue, how hopeful are you that we're ever going to be able to unseat our monarchy and to have a kind of elected head of state?
Not for a very long time. I reckon, you know, unless what's-his-face, George, the little one, decides to do something about it, I reckon we're going to have monarchy for a very long time.
Yeah. I mean, you might have heard that some people have been arrested, actually, for trying to protest some of the goings-on. What do you make of all that?
I think it's crazy that, you know, Prince Andrew's not in prison.
The man circled here is heckling Prince Andrew during the procession of the Queen's coffin through Edinburgh. On the pavement behind the crowd, police try to calm the situation as tempers among the public are raised.
Disgusting! Oi, I've done nothing wrong.
But I mean, Andrew's actually reportedly is going to play a bigger role in the monarchy now. Charles has invited his brother to, you know, rejoin where the Queen had obviously pushed him away. Do you feel like that's appropriate, given, you know, he was obviously accused of sexually assaulting a child?
He was.
Yeah.
Personally, I think if he tries to bring Prince Andrew back in, he's blotted his copybook, and the public don't forget that easily.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I think that's a good euphemism for it. I think he is going to, because there have been reports of that, and, you know, the Queen's even bequeathed him some of her corgis, I hear.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
I thought that was just to keep him busy.
Quite, yeah, exactly. The devil makes work for idle hands, as they say. Do you have particular feelings about Prince Andrew's kind of inclusion or exclusion from the royal family?
I think the Queen made a decision, and the royal family should stand by it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think actually Prince Andrew should come back. I think he made serious errors with over the last few years, more than a few years, 10 years, 12 years, and I think he should be not become again a working royal, and he should take a background seat.
Excuse me, sir. Have you arrested any Republicans today?
I'm not going to make a comment on that at all.
Monarchist or Republican, most will consider this a time to reflect on an incredible life of service. But some will want the Queen's passing to signal the end of the institution itself and make themselves heard.
What do you think about the idea that Britain shouldn't have a monarchy anymore, that we should have a kind of democratically elected head of state?
No chance. You got to have a monarchy.
Right.
I don't care what people say.
What do you think so necessary about it?
Well, it's history. It's our history.
You talked about the kind of world has lost something. Some people obviously would argue that maybe it's gained something in the opportunity to have kind of a democratically elected head of state, for example. But how do you feel about that?
No. I'm happy with the way it is.
Yes. What about people who think that we shouldn't have a monarchy at all? You know, there are them.
There are boats that leave this country every day. They can get on them and go if they want. It's taken hundreds of years to build all this.
Yeah.
We're not chucking this away. You think about the men that built it and what they built it for. I was only looking at comparison pictures the other day of King George VI's funeral, and the streets were just full of people. Do you know what I mean? And they've come back out again. No, we're not done with our monarchy yet.
I'm not an enormous royalist, but they are a family that represents us, and also we ask a lot of them.
Do you think that Britain can really be called a democracy when we have an unelected head of state, when people, you know, become fabulously wealthy as a result of being born into it?
No, you see, I'm an environmentalist and campaigner, and you can have power or you can have influence. You can't really have both. And I think that the royal family have influence but no power. They can't actually make us do anything we don't want to do. Yeah. And we sort of own them. So there's a bargain between us and the royal family in that they They act in a way that we want them to. It's an accident of birth, and I feel sorry for them because they are kept in a golden cage and they do what we want. They have to behave better than us, and we give them hell if they don't. And it's just the way it's been, and it keeps us stable. It's not written down, it's not analysed, it's not logical. It's just the way Britain is.
Some people would say this is exactly what England is about, or what Britain's about, you know, the monarchy and blah, blah, blah. So.
But some people will say the opposite, that the monarchy, symbolises all the bad things that Britain's
100%,
about.
yeah,
like
yeah.
racism
Yes,
and
yes.
imperialism.
Oh, 100%, I didn't want to talk shit.
How do you feel about the Queen dying?
Obviously it's sad, isn't it? Anyone dying sad. I'm not sure a 4-hour queue. 14-hour queue. Do you actually get to see her?
No, the coffin's closed. Oh. I thought that as well. Actually, it turns out it's closed.
So you could just be waiting 14 hours for a box. Whatever people want to do with their day, it's up to them, innit? It's a monumental moment, innit? Like,
how about King Charles III?
Yeah, see, this is where it gets all techie. Like, what's gonna happen? Like, I don't know. He's old as well, so like, in my lifetime, I'm gonna have like 3 monarchies, innit? So, as for the Queen, God rest her soul, and you always see me lining up.
Keep smiling, you're nearly there. Respond with a smile, that's all we want to see. Keep it, come on down. I'm a happy person, I like people to be happy around me. What they've gone through to be here, it's not easy. So the worst thing you want to do is come in and barking, show me your wristband, get over there. You don't hear that, you just want a bit of inspiration. You still got an hour and a half to go down there.
How do you feel about the fact some people have queued 14 hours?
What can I do? It's not my organisation, is it? I can't do nothing.
No, I don't mean the organisation, I mean the passion that people have for the Queen.
Because a lot of people don't realise what people think about as a person, not a head of state.
What do you think about the Queen as a person?
She was very nice. She was lovely. I haven't met her personally.
Yeah.
I've never had dinner with her, but I thought she was a good woman. She looked after her family.
Yeah.
She helped run Britain. What more do I want?
Right, but maybe different to how you feel about her as a head of state.
Head of state, she's a lady. She was a woman of household. She ran things.
Yeah, she did
Things
run a
didn't
lot of
run
things.
her. Yeah? She's the head of my country, Jamaica. She's head of most countries.
Yeah.
What can I say?
How do you feel about the fact that she was the head of state of, 15 countries when she died?
What can I say? You divide and conquer. They conquered. It got divided.
It's just really powerful in there, and it makes you feel so patriotic, honestly. She's just incredible.
How are you feeling at this very intense moment? You've just been into
very,
the hall.
very emotional. It was an emotional experience, and we saw the changing of the guard as well, so it was all very ceremonial, and the Queen laying there with the lovely set, all the jewellery on top, and the sceptre, is it called now? And yes, it was just an experience that will live with me forever.
Really? Wow. Yeah, worth every second of waiting.
Really?
Yeah. Absolutely.
We waited 14 hours.
And it was worth every second.
Queued for 14 hours.
You seem like you're also very moved, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me, my dad's medals.
Are those your dad's? Okay, so you feel a strong connection to the Queen through him?
Yeah, because he was a naval officer and met the Queen, and so was my brother, and there's a huge connection with my family.
Yeah.
It only just hit me now that it was just incredible. Really brilliant. Yeah. I was born just after her coronation, and that's all I've known, Queen. And she's been a constant, always there.
Yeah.
It hit me like a train.
Wow. Do you feel like much of a personal kind of connection to the Queen?
I don't know if it's personal, but she's part of our living constitution, and she's served us in a really remarkable way, so it was my chance to pay my final respects and say thank you.
How do you feel about the idea that some people have expressed that we should replace our constitutional monarchy with an elected head of state?
Well, fortunately, they're in a vanishingly small minority, so it's not something I bother myself with.
Some of those people have been arrested, I hear, for holding placards and so on, saying things like abolish the monarchy. Is that right?
No, absolutely not. It's right that we all have the right to express ourselves, even if we do it tastelessly.
David, can we get a few words for Sky News, please? David, Sky News, just an emotional moment. How was that? David, back please.
Sorry? We were there, we were there for a reason, and everyone was together, and it was a special few hours. And the legacy that she has left is incredible.
We're not going to see the like of her again, are we?
I don't think so. No, I think that someone to have led the country the way she led our country. That's why we all queued up today, because I think it's the right thing to do, and it's us paying respect to our Queen. It's a difficult moment right now, so.
Excuse me, sir. This is a bit cannibalistic, but how do you feel? You just interviewed David Beckham.
Just let me stand up 1 second. How do I feel?
Yeah.
It's obviously a personal matter of him to go there. He wasn't there as a celebrity. He was there as a subject of the Queen. He was mourning like everybody else. He'd queued up, by all accounts, for hours.
Wow.
Respectfully. He hadn't jumped the queue like an MP.
Do you think some people were more excited to see David Beckham than the Queen?
I wouldn't think so, no. I mean, David Beckham's great, but, he's not ruled the country as a monarch for 70 years, so no.
Was it almost as exciting to see David Beckham as it was to see the Queen?
In different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both heroes of mine in different respects.
Do you see that David Beckham was here? There was a big group of
Seen
people.
out the news and he queued, didn't he, for 12 hours?
Yeah, he did, yeah. What do you think of that? Are you just,
That's all right.
Yeah. Respect
No
to him.
one's going to get the celebrity world have not got access.
To what? To the Westminster Hall. Okay, you can't skip the queue if you're a celeb.
No,
Yeah.
you've got to join the general population.
Everyone's equal in that sense, except the monarchs.
Well, it's theirs, isn't it?
Yeah.